Hi everybody, primary commodities are essential materials for economic activity, and we look at examples that are very obvious. In the agricultural sector, key commodities are fruits and vegetables, but also goods like wheat, rice, sugar, maize. Plenty of examples there. If we look at metals, primary commodities will be nickel, copper, zinc, aluminium, steel. Even utilities like oil and gas are key primary commodities. But in this video, I want to share with you why prices of primary commodities are so volatile, why they swing so much in the upwards direction and in the downwards direction, but also what the consequences are of price volatility. Let's start by understanding why prices are so volatile for primary commodities. And at the heart, it's because demand and supply of these primary commodities is so price inelastic. Demand is price inelastic because a lot of these commodities are necessities. There are lack of good substitutes available for them. Supply is price inelastic because of the large production lag involved. If it's agricultural produce, it takes a long time to plant the seeds to grow the crop. But even things like metals and oil and gas takes a long time either to extract them or to mine them. And it's also hard to store many of these commodities. Agricultural produce is perishable. Other commodities is very expensive to store them. So stocks can often be low for these commodities. So that means when we draw a diagram, demand and supply are going to be very, very steep. You can see that here, representing the fact that both demand and supply are very price inelastic. But it's not just that, it's the fact that in the markets for primary commodities, you see regular shifts of the demand and supply curves, regular factors that affect demand and supply. On the supply side, often it's weather, especially in the agricultural sector. Good weather will mean a bumper crop, will mean a big increase in supply, but bad weather, like a flood or a drought, will mean a terrible crop and a big reduction in supply. And on the demand side, primary commodities are heavily influenced by global growth. If global growth is high, there'll be a huge increase in demand for primary commodities in the manufacturing process. But if there is a slowdown in global growth, there'll be a big reduction in demand for commodities. So that's why you get regular shifts, as well as other factors, but these are some of the big ones. So if we see what that does in a market, let's say the market for maize, right? We've got our steep demand and supply curves. And let's say there are weather changes, right? If there is good weather, there is a bumper crop for maize, supply shifts to the right. But equally, there could be bad weather destroying the crop, supply shifts to the left. But look at the impact on price and how much price can swing in either direction from a supply shift, whether right or left. Incredible, right? That's why you get significant price volatility. But now let's go to the consequences. Is price volatility a concern? Well, that answer depends on the direction of the price movement. If prices go up, producers of primary commodities will be very happy with that. And that's because demand is price inelastic. So their revenues will rise, their income will rise, their living standards will rise. Good for them. It's when prices fall, that's the huge concern for producers of primary commodities. Demand is price inelastic, so their total revenue comes down, their income comes down, their profitability comes down, their living standards come down. And worst case scenario in a developing country could mean absolute poverty for these producers. It might mean they go out of business completely, they leave the industry completely. If they do, and many producers leave, they don't produce that commodity anymore, well, that can mean shortages, key supply concerns of that commodity in the economy. That's not good either. But equally, the revenues from primary commodities can often provide big government revenue through taxation. Maybe the government has a share in the businesses of these producers. So government revenue will come down when prices fall of commodities. But equally, export revenues will come down too, impacting on economic growth in these countries. That's a major concern too. Can lead to deep recessions in countries who are dependent on the revenues from primary commodities. And at the same time, low prices, but price volatility generally, can put producers off investing. So they don't spend as much on capital machinery, on improving the productivity of their business. And that can hold back, yes, productivity, but also can mean cost of production stay high and competitiveness falls over time as well. So that's another concern when prices fall. So you can see from this video, not just why prices of primary commodities are so volatile when they increase and they decrease significantly, but also we understand what the consequences of that volatility are, and very dangerous in the negative direction when prices fall. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Hopefully that was really interesting for you, and I'll see you all in the next video.